Hey everybody, this is going to be a part of a series on upgrading my server. As you can see, this is a motherboard from a HP computer. Now, I was given this computer by someone when the motherboard fried, and they needed to get a new motherboard. So they also at the time decided to upgrade their CPU, despite this actually having an i5 3330 in it. So they simply said if I wanted to keep it or throw it away. So obviously I'm not going to turn down a free i5 Intel CPU. So they gave me the computer. They went and bought themselves a new one. I don't know why. They seem to have more money than sense, but anyway. So I'll just show you over here. This is the case. As you can see, I've already stripped it 4 parts. I've pretty much stripped everything and everything out of it I can, including the fans and everything else. So I don't really want to keep the case because the HP cases aren't that great. So I've just taken everything out of it, and I'm going to use it to upgrade my server. So this part will basically just be talking about some of the parts that are going into the server. I've decided to go with this ASRock B75 Pro 3M. It's a 1155 socket motherboard, mostly because that's what the socket for the CPU is. I was also lucky that this was the very last one, the very last 1155 motherboard the computer store at my local area had in stock. So I managed to grab that, but I grabbed this also because it also comes with 8 SATA ports on it, which is fantastic. The more the better for a home server. That way you don't have to cram too many RAID card or port multiplier cards into the machine. I don't plan to actually have RAID set up, as I keep offline backups, as you'll see up here. Each of them in little anti-static bags. I have, though, started to purchase these little hard drive cases. They only had a couple in at the time at my store, so I just grabbed whatever I can, and I plan to buy some more. So they just sit in there. As you can see, I put a little label on the front, so that's going to be pretty cool. I was going to do this a couple of days ago, but I was actually waiting for some isopropyl alcohol. This is actually 100% pure, that I purchased off eBay. Normally I could buy it locally, but I simply didn't have the time to go to the store as I was quite a busy couple of days, so instead I just bought it online and waited for it to turn up. I also purchased a stock Intel fan. Now the reason I did this is because the fan that actually came with the HP CPU cooler is not a normal sort of push pin or even screw CPU cooler. In fact, it has a backplate. This backplate is actually glued onto the back, so there's no way to remove it unless you just pry it off, which I don't really have a problem because the motherboard's dead anyway. But the problem is reattaching or attaching it to my new motherboard. So instead I've decided to cut my losses with that. I managed to find stock Intel fans on eBay as well. They were only $12.95. And they've never been used, as you can see, because the thermal paste or thermal compound is still attached. So they've simply taken ones when people have ordered aftermarket coolers and decided to sell them individually, which is great. That's all I really need. I don't really need some massive cooler. I want to keep it as compact in there as I can. So if it does play up, then maybe I'll swap it for something a bit more powerful. But I think I'm just gonna, for $12.95, it's worth a shot to just see if it works. So I have to detach these. It'll actually require. They're not the normal type of screw holes. So in fact, they are some weird proprietary, I guess, screw that HP uses. I have found though that simply a small flathead screwdriver will let me get into those little side grooves there and twist it enough to loosen it. Now I've left it loose enough so I can unscrew it with my hand. So I can simply do that. I bought the isopropyl, like I said, because this has some, obviously, from when this cooler was first attached, and I didn't just want to use, you know, paper towel or tissue paper or something like that to just remove it and then leave some residue on there. I want to make sure it's completely clean. So I bought the isopropyl alcohol. Now obviously the more pure the better, because it dries a lot quicker and leaves less behind. So that's what I've decided to do. I'm going to remove that. I'm then going to, my next step will be to place the CPU into the new motherboard and attach the CPU cooler. I probably won't show that process because it's fairly simple, and most people who are probably interested in this video already know how to do that anyway. But yeah, I just thought I would document different stages of my build. I'm actually doing this for a forum that I'm part of. As I promised them, once I start doing it, I would make a short video or take some pictures, or possibly even both. So this is the little first part. I will make another part once I've sort of got my case and things like that, and then I'll upload them hopefully to YouTube, so not only the people on that forum can check it out, but also anybody else on YouTube who's interested in looking at different builds and server builds, which I know I personally do. So might as well, before I finish this video, give you a quick little thing of my workstation. That's a little Epson T50 printer. It also comes with a little continuous ink system that I bought, and I've actually fed the tube with some aquarium tubing to the back where a little bucket, it actually collects the waste ink. This is so it doesn't build up in the little sponge that's inside, and then it's very difficult, damn near impossible to remove after. So that way, it doesn't even, the waste ink doesn't sit in the side of the printer anymore. It filters out directly into that little bucket there, and then I simply empty it out every month or two. So yeah, it's a quick little way of doing it. Might have to come back a bit. This is actually just my screen. It's actually a 42-inch television. I had a spare one, and I wanted a big screen. I initially had two 24-inch screens, and they worked great. I just decided that this might be a bit better, especially for some people in the household who have terrible eyesight. So I ended up selling those, and then the money I made from that I could put towards this TV. So I got the TV 42-inch screen for around $400, which if I was to buy, it probably costs around $600-700 if I was to buy a 28-inch screen LCD monitor. So, and this TV actually has a VGA, a DVI, and a HDMI on the back, so it has all the plugs I need no matter what connection I use. I do use a HDMI, so then I also get built-in speakers, so that's pretty cool. Then over here is just my standard tower. It's just a Cooler Master. Well, I can't really remember the model number. I think it's S12-2 or something. The reason I got this one is because it has a 3.5 and a 2.5 docking station built into it. So I use this when I do my server backups, because I keep offline ones, as I showed you before. Then I've got in here, I've got two CD-ROM drives. I had spare ones, so I just stuck them in there and might as well use them. And then down here is an LG DVD, Blu-ray, Blu-ray drive. It's not a Blu-ray burner because I don't really burn Blu-rays, but it's good for when I want to rip my Blu-rays to my hard drives. This is a Intel i5 2500K, so the K being it's overclockable, no locks on it, so that's cool. Yeah, so that's the basic sort of, just got a standard sort of keyboard and mouse and whatnot. So yeah, so that's the basic thing. I'll go through a bit more once I get to the next part, and I'll show you my server, my current server and things like that. Yeah, so stay tuned.